All right, in this lesson, we are going to take a look at adding and subtracting rational expressions. This first one here, we have 9 over 8x minus 3 over 4x. Okay, this is a subtraction problem, but it is also subtraction of fractions. Remember that when you add or subtract fractions, that you need a common denominator. So here we have a denominator of 8x in the first fraction and a denominator of 4x in the second fraction. So technically, the common denominator is 8x times 4x. Okay, so before you can add or subtract, you want to make sure that both fractions account for 8x times 4x. So in this first fraction, since the 9 is already over 8x, all we have to multiply the 9 by is the 4x. So 9 times 4x is right here. And then minus the 3 is going to have to be multiplied by 8x. Now all of that is over the common denominator of 32. 8 times 4, 32, and then x times x is x squared. Then you just have to multiply and do the subtraction and simplify. So 9 times 4x is 36x, and then negative 3 times 8x is negative 24x. So 36 minus 24x is our 12x, all over 32x squared. And then at this point, you just need to simplify the fraction. 12 over 32, the greatest common factor there is a 4. 4 goes into 12 3 times, 4 goes into 32 8 times, so that's a 3/8. And of course, if you have x over x squared, think about it like you have an x in the numerator and you have 2 x's in the denominator. They get canceled out. The x in the numerator and denominator cancel out, and all you're left with is this x to the 1 at the bottom. So that will be our final answer, 3 over 8x. All right, let's take a look at number 2. Similar, except in this one here, the minus 5x, the denominator is technically 1. It's not written as a fraction, but it would be over 1. So the common denominator is just x plus 4, because x plus 4 times 1 is just x plus 4. So this first fraction, which has a numerator of 3, the numerator does not have to be multiplied by anything else because it has the common denominator as its denominator. The minus 5x, though, is going to have to be multiplied by the x plus 4. So let's go ahead and set that up, and then we'll do the multiplication. So 3, and then minus 5x times 1x, that's minus 5x squared. And then negative 5x times 4 is negative 20x, all over x plus 4. At this point, we're just going to write the numerator in descending order of the exponents. So the negative 5x squared is first, minus 20x, and then this is a positive 3, so plus 3, all over x plus 4. And that will be our final answer for this subtraction problem. Okay, number 3. Here, we have a 5x plus 7 over x minus 4 plus a 3 over x. Okay, so both denominators have an x, technically. So the common denominator is going to be the factor of x and the factor of x minus 4. I'm just going to leave it in factored form. But again, when you're working with a common denominator, you have to multiply the numerator times the factor that's not already part of the fraction. So the 5x plus 7 has to get multiplied by x. So I'm showing you that here, 5x plus 7 times x, plus the 3, which needs to be multiplied by the x minus 4, because it already has the factor of x minus 4 here. Okay, now, probably should write this x on the front end, but we're multiplying x times 5x, that's where we get 5x squared, and then x times 7, that's our plus 7x. And then plus 3 times x is 3x, and then plus 3 times negative 4 is negative 12, all over x times x minus 4. Now, notice that we have these common factors of 7x and 3x. Those get added together for 10x. So 5x squared plus 10x minus 12 all over x times x minus 4. That will be our final answer. Okay, number 4. So in number 4, our first fraction, 7x over x minus 1, so it has a binomial in its denominator, plus 5 over x plus 3, so another binomial as its denominator. So the common denominator then is going to be both of these factors. So the numerator will get multiplied by the factor that is not already part of it. So the 7x gets multiplied by x plus 3 here, and the 5 gets multiplied by x minus 1. And then all of that over the two factors, x minus 1, x plus 3. So now we multiply 7x times x, 7x squared. 7x times 3 is 21x. 5 times x is 5x, and 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. Now we just have to, again, combine our like terms here, 21x and 5x. That's where we get 26x. Then we have our 7x squared minus 5 all over the x minus 1 times x plus 3. Okay, number 5. Let me zoom in on this one here. Okay, so this one is an additional step. It's a little bit different. In our denominator of our second fraction, it's 2 over x squared minus 64. I need you to immediately recognize that this is the difference of two squares. The square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 64 is 8. So we can factor this into x plus 8, x minus 8, so that we can then consider our common denominator. All right, so we're going to think of this part going away, okay? Now let's consider our common denominator. We have an x minus 8 here, and then in the second fraction, it's 2 over x plus 8 and x minus 8. Okay, so our common denominator then is the x plus 8 and the x minus 8. We do not have to account for this x minus 8 twice, okay? It's just saying that this fraction has the full common denominator. So we're not going to have to multiply the numerator times anything. But this fraction only has the factor of x minus 8 in the denominator. So the numerator of this fraction, 7x plus 5, has to get multiplied by x plus 8, which I'm showing you here, plus 2, and then again 2 has the entire common denominator, so it doesn't get multiplied by anything. So now we just do the multiplication, but be careful, this is a binomial times a binomial that we have to distribute correctly, or we use what's called the FOIL method. So the f, the first terms, 7x times x, 7x squared. 7x times 8, 56x. Then we go inside here, or this 5 times both of these terms. 5 times x is 5x, and 5 times 8 is 40. And then don't forget the plus 2. All over, again, x plus 8, x minus 8. So now we just have to consider what are the like terms that we have. So we should see that we have these x's that are common, and then we have this 40 and this plus 2. So when we put our final answer, we have this 7x squared, but 56x plus 5x is 61x. 40 plus 2 is 42, and then over that common denominator of x plus 8 over x minus, or times x minus 8. That will be our answer there. Okay, one more we need to look at for sure, just to make sure we see a few different examples. 6 is similar to number 5 when you work it out, but to begin with, the factoring is a little bit different. This is our quadratic or our trinomial, ax squared plus bx plus c. So to factor this trinomial, we're looking for the factors of negative 42, the numbers we multiply to get negative 42 that we can combine or that we can add together to get positive 1. Well, that's 7 and 6. 7 times 6 is 42. So if we have a positive 7 times a negative 6, we get negative 42, and negative 7 plus, 7 minus 6 is plus 1. Okay, so now again, let's consider what is our common denominator. Well, we have the x minus 6 here. Of course, it's also here, but we don't have to account for it twice, okay? But it's the x minus 6 and the x plus 7. That is our common denominator here, okay? So again, just to remind you, the 3x has the entire common denominator, so we will not be multiplying it by anything. But the 7 only has a factor of x minus 6, so it has to get multiplied by x plus 7 here. So we have 3x plus 7 times x is 7x, and 7 times 7 is 49, all over the common denominator of x plus 7 times x minus 7. All right, well, the 3x and the 7x can be put together for 10x plus 49 over x plus 7 times x minus 7, okay? That should give you a look at all of the examples. I will go ahead and show you in the video the answers. If you want to pause and work through 7, 8, and 9, you can now. But here are the answers. So here's the work for number 7. And then I will show you the work for number 8. And then the work for number 9. All right, and that is a look at adding and subtracting our rational expressions.